You remember a couple of weeks ago, whenever they were in lame duck session, they had a bill that came up and passed both chambers that would ultimately take away local county control of what happens with renewable energy projects. Well, the governor was asked about that yesterday, but to give you a bit of a refresher, here are moments from when this measure passed the Illinois Senate. And you'll hear State Senator Bill Cunningham and State Senator Chapin Rose from the previous General Assembly debating this issue in the Senate just before it passed.
We have a number of areas in the state, the prime regions, particularly for wind development in the state, that have very reasonable siting rules, and we've seen all sorts of development. We have other counties that have much more restrictive rules in place, and that has stymied development. And that's what we're trying to address in this bill by allowing for local input, but putting guardrails on how restrictive those siting requirements can be.
We got plenty of this. If you let it work, you'll get plenty more, but it will be in places where locally elected officials have said, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense to put it there. In one study, the estimated 573,000 birds were killed in a year at a single 51,000 megawatt installation. Of those, 83,000 were raptor birds. Why is that important? Because they're the ones that keep all the other species in check. They're the ones who eat mice and rats that prevent vermin from spreading disease. Oh, monarch butterflies? Let's screw that up too. Why is that important? Because we need to eat.
So again, that was just some of the debate on the Senate floor on this measure that would ultimately take away local county control of where they site the wind farms or other renewable energy type of operations. The bill passed both chambers, so it's now on the governor's desk, and the governor was asked about it yesterday at an unrelated event in Decatur. Here's some of what the governor had to say.
It's very important for us to make sure that counties, local governments, and the state all have input here whenever there is an opportunity for a farmer or a landowner to put clean energy on their land and to reap the benefits of that. And so this bill simply spreads that out a little bit more and doesn't allow a county or local government to hold hostage an opportunity for a local farmer, for example, to make a little extra money.
So this very much sounds like the governor is going to sign this measure, and we'll see exactly what the impacts of that are going to be. If there's going to be any lawsuits from local county governments saying that this is overstepping the bounds of the state government to come in. But this is also on the heels of Governor J.B. Pritzker returning from Davos, Switzerland, the World Economic Forum, where he promoted the state's green energy policies or renewable energy policies on a global stage. So the governor at one point indicating to farmers before the election that he wasn't necessarily concerned about taking away the farmers' property, and we'll have to revisit some of those comments he made and whether or not this bill that he sounds like he's poised to sign might rub up against what he had to tell farmers back in the before the November election. So some interesting things going on, of course, post-election with a new found agenda moving forward and seeming to have the supermajority of Democrats on board with that agenda and how that's going to be implemented moving forward.